you know what? Now that you're speaking, it sparked me at a question, and this be for the group actually, because I know we're all on the same page as far as trying to get leads and everything when we're on Facebook scraping. What is a good suggestion to separate? To really separate yourself from the pack. So, you know, you got somebody that puts a post on Facebook, they're looking for a private lender, or I mean, a hard money lender, but you know, whatever the case is. And then of course you respond and you try to reach out to them. What does anybody do on here? And I'll take this answer from anybody to separate them from everybody else. Cause you know, somebody always has a great deal, 100% LTV, you know, great rates, or, you know, and obviously those things, we all know that once the conversation starts, the realness comes out instead of all these great, you know, 100% LTV promises and things like that.
Right.
What would be your suggestion, or anybody else that would like to answer that uses Facebook, how they kind of separate themselves from that pack of the same kind of brokers, everybody going for that same deal?
Well, I guess I can certainly kick that off, and I'm sure people will back me up here. But one thing you want to avoid is if you see a client that says, I need funding, post your information in the comments, and you have 30 people replying, if you try and respond to that client, you are putting yourself in the running of a very high contention file, giving yourself a very low percentage chance to win over that client. That is not how you want to do business, right? Because you're making it more difficult than it has to be. You see, anybody who's been in the space and has bought leads before knows what it is to be working high contention files and leads. And it can be very frustrating, especially when you pay a company to give you a lead, right? And that company says, these are exclusive leads for 30 days. Yeah, they're not exclusive. They're selling them out the back door to 30, 50 other people. That client is getting barraged with endless phone calls or whatever. It's very difficult. Here, we're generating our own leads. And so that level of exclusivity can be there, right? And you don't have to deal with so much because they're not in the radar, they're not on the list, their data is not being sold, they're not being barraged with endless phone calls or whatever it is. But if you target somebody like that, in that circumstance, now you're dealing with a high contention file. And if, as brokers, if we're just dealing with a client list of competitive files, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. We're going to give ourselves a lot of comments. So definitely something to think about in that regard. So that answers part of your question. The other part is, how do you separate yourself in those specific circumstances? Well, we need to dig in a little bit into what we're offering the client, right? It's not, so there's a multitude of products. There's the client's needs today, tomorrow, and of course yesterday, right? There's lots of ways to impress. We need to gather information, and that's really what we are, information gatherers, in order for us to learn what it's going to take to win over this client, right? If we just kind of spew information and value to somebody that has no connection to us, it's not going to go well, right? For instance, I could talk to somebody about real estate investment funding who's not a real estate investor. Right? It's business funding. They need equipment financing. They need growth for if they have capital needs for growth, right? Whatever it is. So you're trying to communicate, I'm the best real estate investment funding broker on planet Earth. They're like, that's great. I'm not a real estate investor, right? It's a little bit of a loose, ridiculous example, but nevertheless, the point is made, right? And so you need to show people, you need to gather a bit of information. Now, once you've gathered that information, you figure out who they are, what they want, what their needs are. You help them understand what you can do for them, right? And that is, listen, I need a bit more information to understand what kind of deal we have on the table, but I can guarantee you this. We're competitive in the national space, okay? Whatever it is you're looking at, if we can't get the deal done, nobody can, okay? I'm going to work hard for you to get you a quote, usually within 24 hours for free. We're going to be able to position you with a large network of lenders. You see, many business owners, many real estate investors think that if they go directly to the lender, all their problems will be solved. But the reality is, your plight as an applicant is to go from lender to lender to lender and try and figure out who has the best pricing, who has the best offer, who should I work with. And so you go from being that business owner and that expert in your field to now an applicant, spending all your time chasing down lenders trying to find the best one. We're a legitimate brokerage. We have a large network of lenders. We're going to help position you best with the top lender out there, offering the best pricing for what you need, the best products for what you need, and expedite that process. You don't have to worry about it. I got your back. You focus on doing what you do. I'll be your money guy, and then I'll position this information in front of you. We'll get you the funding you need. That's a way to show them, right? Be the expert. Fire back a little bit. Help them understand this is what you do, right? They need purchase money. They need rehab money. They need capital. They need whatever it is. That's what you do for a living. That's where you're an expert. You can take that work off of their plate, that pile of papers off of their desk, and handle it for them. It's a relief to work with you, right? So these are some of the things that you can do. Patrick, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, man. Hopefully I'm coming in clear here. My microphone was having issues. Awesome. So I think Mark was asking the question about differentiation again. Is that right, Mark?
Yes.
Yes,
Patrick. Okay. Awesome. Whoever. The art of differentiation is being different. Okay. And how do you be different? You ask different questions than what these clients are being asked by all the other brokers out there. All the other brokers are touting best rates, best banks, best sources, more money. Start asking different questions. Hey, just out of curiosity, does your broker have your best interest at heart? Does your broker have a full understanding of your business? Does your broker, understand what your objectives are? And you might get answers like, what are you talking about? And you come back with, well, I've developed a process where, by gaining a little more insight into you and your business and your objectives, I can better custom tailor funding solutions that are designed to better meet your needs than the cookie cutter approaches that all the other brokers are using. All I need is 15 minutes of your time. So just ask different questions, approach them from a different angle than all the other people, and you'll rise above the noise.
That's a great point. Not only that, but they're going to put in some sweat equity with you then there by following that approach Patrick just gave you, because they're going to take the time. They're going to invest in that opportunity with information, right, with attention. And once they've done that, they've connected to the experience and to you. And so now they're going to want to see a return on investment for that time that they've spent, that investment that they've made. You're that much closer to working with somebody. If you get on the phone with a client and you just start going, spitting information, and you think you sounded great, you just monologued the best of them, right? But did the client really have much to say? Did they maybe have one or two questions? Okay, thanks. And they got off the phone. They're not connected to you. They're not interested, right? But if you can get them interested, if you can get them talking, if you can get bits of information from them, right? Now we're talking. Now we're cooking, right? There's a lot of salespeople out there who love the sound of their own voice, but they never actually take the time to learn the identity of the client, right? So, Patrick, to your point, right? So did you have more to add to that?
Yeah, that's exactly what it comes down to, is learning about, them. And it doesn't matter how silly the question might sound to you, as long as it's something that has a different sound. Look, you go to a concert and listen to your favorite band live. They're never going to sound like they did in the recording studio, and your ears are more attuned to what's happening around you because you've got different sounds. It's no different than when talking to these clients. They're going to hear something different coming out of your mouth. You might ask them, well, let me ask you a question. Why'd you, go into the, shoelace painting business or whatever it is they're in? You know what I mean? Get them talking about themselves. Get them, back in touch with why they started doing what they did, why they're in the business they're in. And something's going to click in the back of their mind, like, this guy gives a shit about me and my business. Maybe I ought to listen to what he has to say. And the key is to open up the dialogue, and then you can steer the narrative.
Absolutely. Well said, Patrick. Indeed. So anyway, Mark, does this give you some ideas to work with?
Yes, perfect. And I like the way Patrick brought that up. It's not like having a personal connection, but it's just having a real human connection, and then the business will flow down. I like that a lot.
Absolutely. Terrific. So that should give you some creative ways of getting some engagement.